I just want to be friends because my ex needs me.
I used to think the worst thing a spouse could say was, "We need to talk." I was wrong. The absolute worst came from my wife, Emma, on a Tuesday evening that started just like any other. I was cooking dinner, she was scrolling on her phone, and the familiar silence settled between us like a thick fog. Halfway through her pasta, she put her fork down, folded her hands on the table, and said it so calmly, so gently, "Marcus, I think we should just be friends. My ex needs me more right now." That one sentence didn't just break something inside me, it vaporized it. I just stared at her, waiting for the punchline. I was looking for the hidden cameras, for any sign that this was some kind of absurd, cruel joke. "Your ex needs you?" I repeated, my voice barely a whisper. She nodded, her eyes soft, as if she were the one comforting me. "He's going through a really hard time, a lot of emotional distress. He reached out, and I realized we still have a connection." A connection. She said it like she was talking about a spotty Wi-Fi signal. My hands went numb, but somehow my voice stayed steady. "So you're leaving our marriage because your ex-boyfriend is sad?" She sighed, a wave of annoyance crossing her face. "Marcus, please don't make this dramatic. You know I've felt disconnected lately, and he understands me in ways you just don't." Funny, because I was the one who held our life together. I paid the bills, I cooked the meals, I fixed every single problem that came our way while she drifted through different jobs, unfinished projects, and this endless quest of finding herself. And now, she was running back to a man who had already abandoned her once before, but I didn't yell. I didn't throw a plate or break anything. I simply stood up from the dinner table, walked into our bedroom, and shut the door behind me. I laid down on the bed, staring at the ceiling, letting the weight of 12 years of loyalty settle heavily in my chest. She moved out within a week. She packed her bags like she was going on a vacation, smiling at her phone constantly. She was leaving behind the man who had kept her entire world stable. But karma, as they say, has a funny way of showing up. 2 weeks later, it came sprinting. I was just getting home from work when I saw her sister Claire standing on my porch. She looked confused, panicked, and was holding 2 shopping bags. "Marcus, is Emma here?" she asked. I shook my head. "No, she told me she was staying at your place." Claire's face went pale. "She hasn't been home in days." That's when a dark, cold feeling settled in my stomach. I invited Claire inside, and after about 10 minutes of real, honest talk, the whole twisted truth unraveled. Emma's ex hadn't taken her back. He wasn't reconnecting with her. In fact, he had reblocked her number after just one late-night message. And Emma, in her desperation and delusion, had pretended she was living with him. She had lied to her entire family. She had lied to me, and worst of all, she had lied to herself. I should have felt some pity for her. But betrayal doesn't leave much room for pity. Claire only knew a fraction of the story, so I told her everything Emma leaving. The speech about just being friends, the part about her ex needing her. Claire's face turned beet red with anger. "She threw away her marriage for a man who didn't even want her?" she asked, incredulous. "Seems that way," I said, my voice flat. She just sat back, completely stunned. "Marcus, what are you going to do now?" "Move on," I answered. Faster than she ever expected, because while Emma was busy chasing ghosts from her past, I was rediscovering myself. I started hitting the gym again, rebuilding the hobbies I had neglected for so long, and pouring all my energy into my business. And for the first time in years, my life finally felt like it was mine again. But the real twist came 3 weeks later. Emma walked right back into my life as if she hadn't just detonated it. I opened the front door to find her standing there, her hair a mess, her eyes puffy from crying, her breathing shaky. "Marcus, can we talk?" she whispered. I leaned against the doorframe, not moving an inch. "Why?" She let out a trembling breath. "I made a mistake. A huge mistake. He wasn't who I thought he was. He didn't want me back. He never did. I was so confused. I thought I needed closure. But I realize now, I chose wrong." I crossed my arms, feeling nothing but a cold resolve. "You didn't choose wrong, Emma. You just didn't choose me." She tried to step closer, to get past me into the house, but I blocked her way. I want to come home, she whispered, her voice cracking. Emma, I said calmly, this house isn't your home anymore. Her eyes filled with tears instantly. Please, Marcus. We can fix this. I can be better. I swear I didn't mean what I said. But you did, I replied, my voice firm. You meant every single word that night. You just regret the consequences of your actions. She shook her head violently, desperate. No, I was confused. I thought I cut her off. He didn't choose you. That's the difference between us. I would have chosen you every single day, without hesitation. You chose him before he even asked. At that, she completely collapsed into tears, dropping to her knees on the porch. Please, I have nowhere else to go. I looked down at her, not with anger, but with a sense of finality. That's not my responsibility anymore, her sobbing echoed in the evening air. I stepped back inside, gently closing the door as she reached out a hand towards me. No, Marcus, please don't. The door clicked shut.